Well, I'd say this video is a bit overdue. Welcome everybody, Zodyrus here, and today I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite Dragon-type Pokemon. A few things before I get started. If you guys could go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and hit the notification bell for more updates from me in the future, I would very much appreciate it. So first off, I will be including every Pokemon that takes on the Dragon typing as possible entries on this list. Whether it be a regular Dragon, a Mega, or an alternate form variant, no Dragon will be left out. And secondly, if you disagree with this list, please note that these are just my personal favorites, and not the best Dragon types of all time. We all good? Great! Now let's begin. Starting us off with number 10, we've got the Ground Dragon type Flygon. Flygon makes it on the list due to its unique design and type combination, shared only by Garchomp and Zygarde. But unlike those two, which are considered massive powerhouses, Flygon sits quite a bit lower on the tiering list. But still, with a solid 100 in both attack and speed and 80 everywhere else, and a nice special and physical move pool to draw from, having moves like Earthquake, Dragon Claw for its physical sets, or Earth Power and Dragon Pulse for its special sets. No matter which way you spec this dragon, it'll perform admirably for you. Overall, Flygon has been one of my most used dragon types over the years, having used it in Pokemon Colosseum, XEL Darkness, all the Generation 3 games, and a couple of playthroughs of Pokemon White 2. Certainly shows I've got a great affinity for it. Just not quite as much as the higher entries on this list, but even still, I can't deny how badass Flygon is. Edging above Flygon is one of the newest dragons to grace the Pokemon scene, Dragapult. Now, I don't have a lot of time with this particular dragon, but I have plenty of good things to say about it. Firstly, its typing. Dragon Ghost is a type that it shares only with one other Pokemon, one of the defining kings of Generation 4 Ubers, Giratina. However, Dragapult takes a very few pages out of Giratina's bag of tricks, and instead of being a near impenetrable wall, is instead the fastest of all the pseudo-legendaries, packing high base attack and special attack and a slightly smaller yet just as useful move pool. Its signature move, Dragon Darts, being one of its key traits, being a move that always hits twice, giving it an effective base power of 100 over its actual power of 50. Each hit, by the way, also has its own separate chance of landing a critical hit, so you might even be able to land 2 crits in a row with this multi-hit move. This Pokemon can wipe through sturdy users and substitute setters all day. Its one major drawback is that while its attack is 20 points higher than its special attack, the only physical ghost move it gets is Phantom Force, which takes 2 turns to use. However, this isn't really a problem when you're talking about Dynamax battles, but it is sort of an issue when it comes to in-game playthroughs. However, its massive special move pool can make up for the lack of the physical moves it possesses. All in all, a wonderful dragon type, and a worth holder of the pseudo-legendary title. Following up from one pseudo-legendary to another, next we've got the mighty Salamence. One of Gen 3's most defining and iconic Pokemon, Salamence graced us with its massive power during RBY. The only way to catch one back then was to get all 8 gym badges and get access to the HM Waterfall, then head to the Dragonfall Cave and make your way to its deepest chamber to find a Bagon. While it started off just as a lowly Bagon who only wished to fly, its desires eventually came true and made it a behemoth of a Pokemon. Salamence is tied with Tyranitar for the highest attack of any pseudo-legendary, and it uses that base 135 to destroy any competition. Its access to Dragon Dance and the overpowered Outrage became so devastating that it actually got banned to Ubers during the 4th generation. That should show you just how good Salamence is. But let's look at some of its utility, because it also had a massive 110 special attack stat, meaning it could even spec into the special side with moves like Hurricane, Hydro Pump, and Fire Blast. But wait, there's still one more thing. In the 6th generation, Game Freak decided to give a Mega Evolution to this already hulking monster, giving it an astronomical defense boost and a general boost to every other stat. And lastly, giving it the amazing ability Aerialate, which turned normal stab moves into flying stab moves and gave those moves a 30% power boost. While this was later reduced to 20% in Generation 7, that still didn't matter, as Salamence was still omnipresent in OU and Ubers alike. Definitely one of Game Freak's most broken Pokemon ideas, but that's exactly why I have it on this list. Now let's take a small step back and give some love to one of the most unique and underappreciated dragons in the series, Noivern. Noivern has a few notable traits that make it stand out from the crowd of other dragons. It is the only dual-type dragon where flying is its primary type, and it is also the only dragon based on a bat. I've also had a fondness for this dragon because it was one of the cutest in the series. Noibat is simply adorable, and Noivern still somehow keeps a lot of that same appeal while also looking badass. Goddamn, I really want to plushie this thing. Plus, let's not forget its battle upsides. Having a whopping base 123 speed, which is a very coveted speed tier, putting it above many other speedy powerhouses, this guy can outspeed a great deal of the metagame. Also having access to the strongest move in the game that has no drawbacks, Boom Burst, gives it some nice normal coverage against a good amount of the game. Also, being one of the few dragons to get access to Shadow Ball, Psychic, and Dark Pulse makes it a very tricky Pokemon to handle with traditional means. Plus, it still has great flying and Dragon Stab in the form of Hurricane and Draco Meteor respectively, and of course the coverage that it gets with moves like Flamethrower, and you can tell this dragon is a worthwhile investment on your team if you're building it for Generation 6, hence why I put it on this list. For this next entry, I had to put it here for one simple reason. It's something I wanted out of this Pokemon my entire life, ever since I started playing Pokemon back when I was 7 years old and playing Pokemon Stadium for the first time. Mega Charizard X is, in my opinion, one of the single greatest Megas in the entire game. With equally massive 130 base special attack and attack, a huge buff to its defense stat putting it at around 115 if I remember correctly, and access to the ability Tough Claws, which increases the power of contact moves by 30%, Mega Charizard X defined much of the OU tier during the days of Generation 6 and even much in Generation 7. It also fulfills a fantasy I always had as a kid, for Charizard to have another evolution of sorts. I remember when I was 9 years old, I drew a concept artwork of what it could look like, and I named it Charico. And Mega Charizard X comes really close to the ideas of Mega Charizard's evolution, or rather the Charizard evolution that I envisioned as a kid. Don't get me wrong, I love Charizard as well, but when it comes to dragons, Mega Charizard X is one of the best. Next up, we have a relatively new addition to my favorite dragons list. When I made my top 5 favorite dragon video several years ago, Gen 8 wasn't even out yet. But now that we're approaching Generation 9, Eternatus has a comfy spot on my favorites list. There is so much about this Pokemon that's just fucking badass. It is the single largest and heaviest of all Pokemon, being over 65 feet long and weighing over 2,200 pounds. This dragon completely dwarfs even the likes of Pokemon like Steelix, which is only 30 feet long, and Wailord, which is, until this Pokemon, was the largest of them all, which ranges at 48 feet in terms of sheer size. But I also love it for its typing. Dragon and Poison is a very odd type combination, shared with Naganadel and Dragalge, but out of the three, Eternatus is the most unique and the most powerful. It's also technically the single strongest Pokemon in the entire game. It's a shame that the form doesn't exist as playable in the game, but Eternatus' Eternamax form that you fight in its boss battle has a base stat total that destroys every Pokemon in a landslide with a total of 1,125. A 255 HP stat tying with the highest single stat in the game with Blissey's HP, 115 attack, 125 special attack, 130 speed, and an insane 250 in both defensive stats, making it have higher defenses than even frickin' Shuckle. Good God, this Pokemon was broken. I understand why Game Freak didn't make this Pokemon's form usable in the game, because if it had, it would have created a whole other new tier, simply titled the Eternatus tier. The rest of this list consists of some seriously powerful Pokemon, the dragon types that the fairy type was created for to keep in check. And starting off, we have the Master of Dimensions, Giratina. So a little backstory is in order for this one. When I played Pokemon Platinum for the first time in 2009 and I saw this badass dragon on the cover, I was immediately invested in capturing it. Although, to be honest, it actually did kind of scare me when I was a little kid. I guess I was a little bit of a weirdo when I was 9, or I wasn't 9, I was 14. Anyway, one of my very first videos, in fact, was a video of me capturing Giratina, which I'll leave in the top corner if you want to go check it out. It's an older one of my videos, but go ahead and give it some love anyway. So of course, I do have some love for it. With its terrifying stats in both its altered form and its origin form, Giratina can either be an offensive monster with a Dragon Dance set, while still having plenty of bulk to shrug off powerful hits, or it can go full support role in its altered form thanks to moves like Roost, Will-O-Wisp, and Stealth Rock. Giratina essentially can be made for every single team, and I know I sure used it a lot. It was my key for winning against Cynthia for the rematch after completing the Sinnoh Dex. It was so bulky that it could tank 3, yes I said 3, of Garchomp's Dragon Claws and still be able to fight. Definitely one of the most amazing designs and concepts for a dragon type in the game as well. And after I write this script, I'm gonna go do some videos on this beast, because it deserves all the recognition that it can get. Alright, it's top 3 time. The top 3 Pokemon of any list I make are always a bit hard to quantify. Just like with my top 10 favorite Pokemon of all time, they tend to shuffle around for a bit. But for now, I've got Reshiram as my 3rd pick. My god, I freaking love this dragon. When Pokemon Black and White came out, I was having a super hard time debating which of the 2 versions I was going to get. I heard from Japanese leaks while I was on my computer in high school that would also be available in White, so since Gardevoir is my favorite Pokemon, I reluctantly chose that. Wish I'd known that it was post-game only, because I wouldn't get my hands on an actual Reshiram for another year after that. But man, I've been obsessed with this dragon ever since. Reshiram, for those who don't know, is the Pokemon that got me started in shiny hunting. When I found out that in Omega Ruby you could get shiny Reshiram, I knew that that's the version I had to buy. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever made, where I finally, after months of resetting, got a shiny Reshiram. Link up in the corner if you want to go check that video out. I kind of squee a little bit, but be warned. She's definitely one of my most prized shinies. But that's not the only reason I love Reshiram, because before Mega Charizard X came along, there was another Dragon Fire that ruled the roost, literally. Reshiram has a massive stat spread, where it can take on multiple roles, sometimes even at the same time. Its stab moves make it where there are no Pokemon outside of Flash Fire Heatran that can take resisted damage to its type combination. On top of that, she is one of the strongest fire moves in the game in the way of Blue Flare, a 130 base, 90% accuracy fire move with a 30% burn chance. So even if you survive it, you've got a 1 in 3 chance of getting burned afterwards. Which also has one of the coolest fire move animations in the game. I do like Zekrom, of course, but Reshiram will always be better in the two of my eyes. Beautiful white dragon with blue eyes and a majestic appeal easily makes Reshiram one of my favorite dragons. Let's cut to the chase. My number 2 is one of the best Pokemon that has ever been named, and in Gen 6 it was given a Mega so strong they had to ban it from the ban list. Yep, I'm talking about Rayquaza. And, of course, its Mega Evolution. Rayquaza has been one of my all-time favorite Pokemon since I first played Pokemon Emerald way back in 2008. Ironically enough, it's because of this dragon that I actually got expelled from 10th grade, because my mom at the time didn't know that she bought me a bootleg copy, and when I tried trading over Rayquaza to my Pokemon XDL Darkness file, the game disc, being the XDL Darkness disc, stopped working right when it said it was saving. I sadly had no choice but to turn the console off, which corrupted my save data, and caused me to have to replay the game over 30 times, each time the game deleting itself after I beat the champion. But anyway, more to the point, Rayquaza is a massive powerhouse of a Pokemon, sporting equal 90 in both defense stats, 105 in HP, 95 speed, and a massive 150 in both attacking stats, with an almost limitless move pool and variety of sets it can run. Special Rayquaza, Dragon Dance, Full Nuke with overwhelming power, and even bulky if you want to go that route. It can be spec'd in any way you desire, and then Mega Evolution, holy shit, Game Freak fucking broke the game with that one. 100 in both defensive stats, 115 in speed, a massive overhaul of 180 in both attacking stats, and an ability that got rid of all of its secondary flying type downsides while keeping all the upsides, made Mega Rayquaza one of the most broken Pokemon ever created. You can actually watch a video on False Swipe Gaming where they actually talk about it, and I fully agree with all their points. This Pokemon was so broken to the point where its power was so overwhelming it had to be banned from the Ubers tier, which essentially meant it was banned from the ban list. Rayquaza and its Mega are the epitome of broken Pokemon. But there is one little dragon who tops out on my favorites list. Now before we get to the number 1 spot, I'd like to give some honorable mentions here. Ultra Necrozma, it would have made it to the list if it was available in Generation 8, but since it's stuck in Gen 7, I couldn't give it a placement. Also, the pseudo-legendaries Hydreigon, Dragonite, and Garchomp are all amazing, but they just couldn't edge out over the competition. Lastly, we have Naganadel. I originally intended it for being in the spot where Eternatus is, but decided against it since Eternatus has a lot more going for it than Naganadel does. But now for my number 1 pick. Latias. Simply put, Latias. I don't feel I need to explain why Latias is my favorite dragon type, but since you made it to the end of the video, I might as well give my reasonings. Firstly, it is so freaking adorable. Latias, in my opinion anyway, is by far the cutest dragon type of all time. And if you know me, you know that I do have sort of a soft spot for cute things. Secondly, its stat spread, which is actually quite diverse. 90 in defense, 110 in both special attack and speed, and 130 in special defense make it a very well-rounded Pokemon. You can easily slap on Leftovers, go with a Bold Nature, with Roost to recover, then Calm Mind, and then the last 2 moves can be used however you see fit. Psychic, Thunderbolt, Mystical Fire, Shadow Ball, Aura Sphere, Ice Beam, Surf, Energy Ball, Dragon Pulse, my god, it has so much versatility. It's a shame that the Latias signature item, the Soul Dew, got nerfed in Gen 7, instead from going from doubling its special stats to just giving them a 30% boost to its Dragon and Psychic type moves, but it's not the end of the world. Now you may think I'm going to go gushing about its Mega, but honestly it's not very good. I am super glad they gave her one, but her stat spread, especially that useless 20-point boost to her attack, isn't very impressive. Still though, Mega Latias is a terror worthy of your Mega Slide. Also, Latias was another one of those Pokemon like Reshiram that convinced me to start shiny hunting. Hunting for shiny Latias is nearly impossible in Gen 3, but in later gens, especially Gen 6, it became much easier. I do, however, have a video of shiny hunting Latias Pokemon Emerald, which I'll leave in the top corner if you want to go check it out. I currently at this moment have 4 shiny Latiases, which took me probably a combined 4,000 plus hours to hunt, but damn they were worth it. All these reasons combined made Latias my favorite dragon of all time, and unless Generation 9 comes out with a dragon so amazing that I have to rate it this high, I don't see Latias' placement changing anytime soon. Well, alright, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. While you're here, please go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications on so you never miss an upload. I do all kinds of content like this, varying from Let's Plays to guides to all kinds of other stuff. Maybe you could also check the videos on screen to see if I've got something else that you might like. Also, please check out my Let's Play channel in the link in the card above or down in the description below to see me play games twice a week. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been DDS, and we can find one video at a time, and I will see you guys in the next one.